There seems to be a lot of praise going around for this film, with how it brings the Alien franchise back to its roots and focuses more on the horror elements and simple premise, but I think it rips off the original ideas and makes them decidedly worse. This film wants us to believe that the Nostromo wasn't completely destroyed and all the pieces didn't go flying into space in different directions for 20 years. But that's not how space works, so I'm already confused. It also wants us to believe that the alien from the original wasn't actually killed and instead went to sleep in a weird rock thing. This is the opening sequence to the film, and we're already not off to a good start. No one is a fully developed character in this film. They're one-dimensional people that we don't care about, and they can be distilled into a few words to describe who they are, with nothing else meaningful to gain from it. The main character, Rain, is in charge and has a brother who's an android. Tyler likes Rain. Kay is pregnant. Navarro smokes. She dies first, so we don't get anything for her character. Bjorn hates androids, and then Andy is an android who's not very smart and does things in the best interest for Rain. Why should I care about these people if there's nothing meaningful about them for me to sympathize with? Just deciding to make a person pregnant doesn't give you a free pass for being invested. You actually have to do something intelligent with them. We get one line defining Kay's motivation, and the movie thinks that's enough. To have the baby where they can see the sun. That's nice, but it's literally never talked about again. But it's horror, they don't have to be developed. Wouldn't it be better if we cared about them and they acted like real people? That way, when they do get killed, we'd care more. There are so many conversations geared towards making sure we definitely understand that Bjorn hates androids, and that Tyler is on Andy's side during this bullying. Apparently that's enough work to put into that character, and after about 5 scenes of this, you'd think the writers would know that they've gotten the point across, and that we could spend the time making the characters more interesting. The best they can do is force a scene where we get clunky exposition telling us that his parents were killed by androids, and that's why he doesn't like Andy. And then it's literally never mentioned again. But Bjorn dies by just staring at a spike and then not getting out the way of acid, because apparently he doesn't have basic human instincts, so never mind. Andy constantly does the right thing in this film, saving the lives of the people around him, and yet he gets no recognition. He even saves Bjorn's life at one point, which might be a way to jumpstart a new dynamic, but it's literally never mentioned again. In one scene, Andy, Tyler and Rain have to get through a room of facehuggers in silence because otherwise they'll be attacked. Then Tyler hears his headset making noise, so instead of immediately turning it off or throwing it somewhere else, he decides to start talking. He's been told to make no noise, and yet he thinks that answering the call is more important. You're not only putting yourself at risk, but everyone else is now in more danger too. This alerts the facehuggers, and so Andy tells them to run. Because it's a movie, we needed him to say the line. Run. But it would surely be smarter and safer to just gesture which way to start running. Because he's an android, he's able to calculate exactly when to close the door as Tyler and Rain reach the end of the corridor. He's just saved their lives, and Rain has the audacity to moan at him about how close a call it was. It was always going to be a close call, and because of his heightened abilities, he was most suited to make that call. Andy is right by saying that he was able to time it perfectly. And because he's right, and the film probably realises that Rain has no stake in this argument, the scene just ends. Then when we meet up with Kay, and there's an alien behind her, Andy won't open the door because he knows it's waiting so that it can kill them all. But for some reason, Tyler and Rain don't understand this and decide to just shout at him. But because they don't understand, since they're stupid and can't grasp the situation, they just blame him for Kay getting attacked. You might say that it's a high-stress situation, so their problem solving isn't very good. But the alien is in full view right behind Kay. It's not hard to realise that it's waiting to see if they open the door. This whole insanity began by them trying to get the power source for the cryogenic pods, causing facehuggers to get released and for Navarro to get attacked by one. After removing it and taking her back to the ship, she then starts to have chest problems and the xenomorph is born. In the process of it trying to burst out of her chest, she's wriggling around and manages to somehow kick the controls in such a way that means the ship crashes into the Romulus station and enters a port on the station to land the entire ship in, which means the people that were left on the Romulus are able to escape at the end of the film. The randomness of how she kicked the controls could have taken the ship anywhere, meaning Tyler, Rain and Andy would have been stranded, but that would mean the plot can't happen, so never mind. Possibly the worst offender for insane nonsense in this film is the zero gravity scene, where about 20 aliens are running towards the characters and Rain shoots all of them with the pulse rifle. A pulse rifle that has 450 rounds in it. In Aliens, it was something like 99 rounds. You know, like a realistic number for a gun to have. But if this one had 99 rounds, then they'd be dead. This gun also has aim assist, so anyone, no matter their combat skill, can use it. So why haven't these guns been mass produced and aren't in the other Alien films? The zero gravity in this scene means that once the aliens are shot, the acid blood doesn't just fall straight through the floor, but instead floats in the corridor. But with the force the acid is leaving the aliens, anti-gravity would mean it travels in one direction at the same speed, meaning all the walls would be melting. But somehow it just floats perfectly in the air. Also, if the guns didn't magically have aim assist, then the walls would be shot out and they'd all be dead from decompression. In the final battle, they even include the "get away from her, you bitch" line. But since this film is set between Alien 1 and 2, it means Ripley stole the line from Andy. It's a shallow reference that only seems to spit in the face of better films. You can have references, but where in the original it was a neat line, here it's been ramped up to 1,000 with Andy jumping on the xenomorph, falling down an elevator shaft while shooting it, and then finishing the line after he's killed it. By all means have references to other films, don't just shoehorn them in to get a response from the audience. Otherwise, the only thing that can be said about it is that it's a reference, which doesn't automatically make it good. The end of the extended third act is where this movie falls apart entirely. Earlier in the film, Kay injected herself with the black goo from Prometheus, which means that her baby is being born early and that it's a human xenomorph hybrid. I don't know who thought that adding this to the end of the film was a good idea. Maybe they were going for some grander idea about how humans have meddled with something beyond their understanding, and that is ultimately the thing that kills them, a thing that they literally gave birth to. But fucking hell is it ridiculous. Maybe don't have someone give birth to a xenomorph baby hybrid that manages to grow into a fully grown adult in about 30 seconds, and then have it be shown in a wide shot. It's fucking weird. Do we remember when Alien used to be about a crew that had to survive being hunted by one xenomorph on a ship, and that was it? There were no stupid decisions or insane contrivances that ensured a plot could continue, or some crazy human alien thing whose face fills the whole screen for a jump scare. Self-preservation doesn't seem to exist in this film. No one is sprinting. They seem to just quickly jog around rather than making it their main priority to get back to their ship as fast as possible. Or they just stand around waiting to get attacked before they actually try to survive. Alien Romulus is a weird amalgamation of Alien, Aliens, and Prometheus. It's a film that doesn't bother creating any likeable, interesting, or clever characters, and instead builds its entire plot on insane contrivances.